All right, y'all. What up? Otis Funkmeyer here with Styx. We're gonna take a look at Real Robot. What do you wanna say to intro this one?
Well, this is like where animation came into Boogaloo in the late '60s. Rio's gonna demonstrate his version of what he calls the dinosaur, but the technique of how he's animating is like, to me, is a really high level for his age, especially. And just want to show you that this was being done in Boogaloo before even Robot came in. You know, this is a very influential style that they were doing in the late '60s through the '70s in
Now,
Brooklyn.
in an earlier commentary we did, you referenced these Harryhausen movies.
Yeah.
Is that where this would be from?
Yeah, so I don't know where Rio got this specific
Yeah.
thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
Because there's also Albert Milton, a.k.a. Iron Man. He's from a group called 1+1.
Okay.
He was doing a dinosaur, but his was from the movie 20 Million Miles to Earth. So I know that. And so some people will say, well, Rio's doing he's doing a different dinosaur. But either way, Rio's doing like what looks to me more like almost like a T-Rex like dinosaur. The way he's moving his head and his arms are kind of short. And but again, the technique is just very similar.
Okay,
you know, how he's doing
check
it.
it out. Tick tick pop. All right. Is it? Oh,
Hello, Dance World.
I missed that.
It's Real
I missed
Robot.
that. All right. So
I
this
go
is
back
Real
a long
Robot.
way.
All right.
1972.
My buddy Will from Funked Up TV is filming this. I'm glad he was asking him all these questions. Shout out to Will.
I do some of the styles like Dinosaur, Sinbad, Robot, Lock.
There's Will
You know,
Locking.
those are some of the different styles that I do. You know, I go way back in the days of James
So he'll just
Brown,
talk about
you know, where we used to keep it funky, dance at the parks, in schools, and stuff like that. You know. Yeah, I'm enjoying myself tonight.
we were at this
Here in
event,
the Bay
Go Hard or
in
Go
San
Home, where
Francisco.
LA came
It's
up.
going down.
Wave-O-Matic
Go
was
hard, go
there.
You know,
Uh,
I'm meeting a lot of people out here that's
all these dudes, Stretch,
real nice, people from LA,
Boppers.
people from
Like,
all
it was
over
dope
the
to
Bay.
have all the LA
And,
guys come up to the Bay.
A lot of people I'm seeing for the first time. You know, I've seen them on film, but I never actually met them. So I'm meeting a lot of people that I haven't, you know, actually met.
And Playboys
Seen a lot
battled
of people, you know,
Control
so, hey,
Freaks.
it's a good thing. You know,
So
we
it's
have
dope to
fun
have
out
that
here, you know, in the
exchange.
Bay. That's the way we do. You know, go hard or go home.
Hey, can you? What is the dinosaur?
Okay,
in
here it
Simba?
comes.
What is that?
Well, dinosaur is a move where you
How he just like broke down and started moving his head.
Yeah, just like nothing, too.
Like how he started it out. Watch where he does his drop right here. Boom! And just started doing his head.
Yeah, this is clearly influenced by some kind of claymation.
Yeah.
I mean, it literally looks like claymation.
Yeah.
So 3D is a move.
Oh yeah, they use 3D
It's like
term a
when
lot.
You dance and you just like
Andre
ticking,
does too.
but the difference is you stopping on a dime.
But the older guys would say it.
Wait.
Dance and you just like ticking, but the difference is you stopping on a dime. Okay, when you stop on a dime, that's where ticking started at. Started from stopping on the dime. And it's an Oakland thing, a Bay Area thing. We've been doing it for years. Ever since I was like 9 years
He
old.
started
52
young, too.
right now, by the way.
Oh.
52 years old, still going strong. I just want the world to know that I'm original, and I've been doing it forever, my
So
whole life.
yeah, when he say
So,
3D too,
hey,
3D's like kind
there
of
it
like
is.
ticking, but it's a little bit
Real robot from
slower,
the
like
Okay.
Is he
bigger.
the robot too?
I mean, I would say depending on what your definition of ticking is, but
Right, exactly.
he's just doing some robot right here. So, but see how the robot is very specific difference. Well, now this is like 3D right here. How he's doing that. That's how Oakland, the old school Oakland guys do 3D, kind of like that. Chuck does a little different too, but that's kind of generally that's how like, especially West Oakland, like Dan used to roll with Rio right here. So him and they kind of do that move like that. Boom, boom, boom.
It's a Bay Area thing. It's worldwide.
But yeah, so I just wanted to highlight that is to also say that animation has been part of Boogaloo from the beginning. And I know there was this like separation thing that happened, and people saying you shouldn't be doing that while you're in this competitions and all that stuff. But like, I made a point to say this on the mic when I was judging Battlezone this past year, because in the finals, like those guys up there, those heavy hitters guys do a lot of animation.
Yeah.
And I made a point to say like it was really dope to see this animation so heavy in these battles, because it has its place, just like any other movement that they're doing with whether it be rolls and waves and tutting or whatever. Animation should be there too. You know, if people want to do it in that battles, they should be able to bust it out, because these guys were killing it doing animation.
Yeah, definitely. And we may get into this in another clip, but it feels like a good time to bring it up. There's in electronic music, we got Heavenly Roach in the chat. I'm sure he knows about this, that in the early 90s, there was a genre that's now called old school hardcore, and at the time was called hardcore, and it was kind of like sped up, kind of happy piano loops with sped up break beats. And around 93, 94, it split into two genres, drum and bass, which was more focused on the break beats, and it got darker, and happy hardcore, which was focused on the happy piano loops, and dropped away the break beats. And so somebody that gets into electronic music in, like, let's just say the late 2000s or something, they will laugh at you if you try to connect happy hardcore and drum and bass. They're like, dude, those have nothing to do with each other. But if you go back to 92, they're the same thing, and something happened and they started to split. So I think to get real specific with what he's saying, in my generation, we'll say the funk side was represented by the Electric Boogaloos, and the animation side was represented primarily by Bop and Andre, and maybe Flat Top and Robot Prince, and to a lesser extent. And when you see those people, yeah, it does seem almost like two different things, much like drum and bass and happy hardcore would. But what's so amazing about this clip is that you see that there was a time where it was all kind of one thing before, basically at some level, before people started specializing. It was like it was a one thing. And if we're going to like, I would say, obviously, there's nothing wrong with having a drum and bass contest, and nothing wrong with having a happy hardcore contest, but to deny the fact that they're from the same root and are super connected to each other, it's historically inaccurate.
Yeah. And it's and there were people specializing, but it was like you were still considered a boogaloo. You could be a specialist in these animated movements, whether you call it a dinosaur or 3D. You could be a poser, what they call it, a hitter, right? You could be more old school style boogaloo, where you're just doing the more wiggling and jumping and hopping around, swinging your arms. You could be a robot specialist. But if you did, some of that stuff with the other dance styles, you were still a boogaloo. Like, unless if you only roboted, then they'd be like, okay, you're a roboter or whatever. But animation, the way I've always seen it in this dance, there are people that specialize, like, say, Andre. But Andre doesn't just go out there and animate the whole time.
It's true.
Right? He'll come out hitting, he'll come out creeping or whatever.
Waving,
doing all that stuff. And so around that time you're talking about, I was always confused, like, why are they trying to separate this stuff? Like, why is everybody doing it then? Why is everybody doing it all the time together? Why is everybody, like, waving and tutting and animating and hitting and rolling their legs and all this stuff? Like, why is this kind of all combined? But it's because the original dance form was like that, so it totally makes sense. It wasn't meant to be all separated like that. You have your specialists, like I said, but they're still considered, they're doing some kind of illusional thing again with the funk.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And much in the same way that if you really want to, like, how did drum and bass and happy hardcore connect? It's sped up break beats and sped up pianos. And in the same way, it's like funk, illusion.
Yeah.
Put them together. That's the, and maybe one person's all funk, maybe one's all illusion, but there's a gradient in between. And
Something like
all
that, yeah.
of that is the thing that we do. I actually really like, there's a question in the chat that I would like to get your perspective on, because I think one of the most amazing parts of this, and it's like it feels like some kind of cosmic joke, is there's all these terms that are used in different ways, meaning popping is used to represent a specific thing and a big thing. Boogaloo is used as a specific thing and a big thing.
Yeah.
Ticking is used by these people to mean this and by those people to mean that, right? So Pop and Wave asks, is dime stops and hits the same? And how would you answer that to somebody asking you?
To me, that's they're different. Actually, that one's kind of easier than some of the other comparisons, like hits and pops, or like,
right.
like. But dime stop, to me, that's just like the stop. So you're doing some kind of motion, and you just stop. Okay, and stopping on the dime, for people that also don't know where that came from, because there are a lot of people that don't know. It was just an old saying about, they used it with cars, where they would be able to stop so fast and precise that they could actually stop on top of a dime, like the smallest coin that we have here in the U.S., right? And so that's where, like, stopping on the dime was kind of the original saying, and somehow it got put into the dime. I don't know the why, how it got in there.
I think it was just such a popular, a normal term.
Mm-hmm. So it was able to stop so clean, right? So bam, and just stop. And you could hit with it. You could add a little shake, right? Hit is just like a movement. It could be very small. It could be bigger. But a hit, or like even a pop, right, is just some kind of like shake with it, effect with it, some kind of little movement that's added to it. It could be with a stop, or you could be like hitting and bouncing off things, like, and continuously kind of using that shake.
And each way you do it has a different effect and is kind of associated with a different group.
Yeah. Like
each way you do the hit.
Sure, like, different dancers had different ways of doing that hit.
Yeah.
For sure. But I'd say hit. I'd say like hit, pop, and even like banging. Like Dan would say in his video I did with him, at one point they called it banging. But he says that's Boogaloo 101. He just goes boom, boom. You're banging your arm, boom, boom, boom. But he's hitting or popping. It's the same thing. They just use a different term,
right?
To describe it,
right?
The way the boppers hit is a very specific, like little bounce thing they have with it,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to sum all of this up, the point is that a lot of the techniques that are considered advanced or modern are basic and old.
Bro, there is a lot of stuff that I believe that with, man. I actually have an interesting thought about that.
Yeah, please.
So my opinion on that is, like, who's to say that these guys back then couldn't be as good at something that we are today? Because a lot of people today think that everything just gets more advanced all the time, right?
Yeah.
But like say with Rio, like, there's not a lot of people I know today that could even do it at his level, and imagine him back then, and imagine people that might have even been better than him in this area, right? Because I hear about those people that people talk about, oh my God, you look just like the movie or whatever, right? So I think that our skill level, we're humans, we're capable of the same things. But what I do think nowadays that we have the advantage of is being able to be exposed to many more things. So I think the dancers can do many more things, maybe well, but I don't think that they would like excel at something necessarily any better than someone did back in the day.
Well,
that's my theory.
To make another analogy to that, there's a lot of like crafts that are right on the verge of getting lost right now. You know, things from like our grandparents' era, because what the biggest advantage they had over us is that claymation was popular culture, so everyone was paying attention to it. You got cred and you got girls and you got status by being able to mimic the thing in popular culture, so you had incentive. And there was a community of people all doing the same thing. And I think one of the main things that pushes humans is competition, right? That's one of the best things about this culture. So it does seem like I've had people message me recently talking about people like Frank Boogie, Legend, Sweepy in the early 2000s being like, I don't see people doing Boogaloo that well right now. And Boogaloo style, oh, it's funny. I'm using, it's so funny. We use it electric Boogaloo style is less popular than it once was. So the competition to be the best at it is not as intense as it once was. And so I definitely think that there are plenty of things that were like, here's another great one. How many amazing funk musicians are there compared to back then? I mean, when you listen to Cameo and Ohio Players and James Brown and all this stuff, these guys are crazy. Their skills are crazy. But now what everybody's crazy at is the computer. They can do so much with the computer, but that doesn't mean you can like funk out on an actual instrument. Yeah.
True that.
Yeah. All right. So this is history of popping animation. This is a good one. We got some good ones. All right. Peace.